Yeah.
We're good to go?
Start time.
Pop,
Yeah,
pop,
we're
pop, pop,
Pop, pop, pop. Bad ideas. Good stories. Number 35. You came late to the conversation a little, but we're going to edit some things.
Hopefully.
How you doing?
Just for feelings. I'm not too shabby, man.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good.
Feelings are important. Preserving people's feelings.
Yeah, I try my best. I don't want to hurt nobody on purpose.
Accidentally. You know. Or intentionally, but I didn't want it to hurt as bad as it did. That one's a big one for me. It's like, hey, I got something to tell you, but I don't know how to say it gently. This always happens with me.
You're pretty good at it, actually.
Yeah, there's something that's very important that needs to be talked about, but everything I say just comes out harsher than I intend. It's like,
oh, fuck. Well, at least you're aware.
yeah, it's like, hey, man, we got to talk about something going on at work. You really have to stop fucking around. Like, I thought that was an appropriate way to talk to people that you work with, but apparently not.
No, that's not cool?
No, well, I don't know. Any boss that I've worked for
Yeah.
has always been that guy. When you
Yeah.
think about it, like, because I was always the back person. I worked in kitchens, not in the front. I worked in, like, silk screening in the back room, not in the front. Tattoo shop, I was in the back. I wasn't reception. So when you fuck up, your boss says, quit fucking up, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the environments I was in.
Yeah, right. I've had stuff thrown at me at work sites, you know what I mean? Like,
As opposed to, excuse me, could we have a talk? We'll have to circle back at the end about everything we're discussing here, but first things first.
I've got some tidbits about your behavior that we need to discuss.
Yes, there's been some issues raised that we need to address one thing at a time. Like, fuck off.
What
I just
level of
don't have
fucking
the-
around are we talking about? Like just not being on time or like doing shitty work or
Like I said, we don't want to hurt feelings or like
nobody we know listens to this. We
Okay,
use
I can
code
dial it back
Yeah,
for previous
I'm just
employees.
wondering. Yeah, man. Like what's
Let's see. Things that
give me an
fu-
example.
Okay, let's see. Okay, one thing that's really chronically an issue in the tattoo community is there's a very wide umbrella on this one, but I call it rock star bullshit.
Okay,
You know,
yeah,
where guys forget that we're doing a job because people treat them differently, you know, and
sure.
then they're like, yeah, because I'm fucking special. And they forget we're fucking tradespeople. We go to work, we do a job, try and treat your clients well, do a decent job. If you fuck up, own it, and then go home.
Yeah.
That's our job. We aren't fucking Mother Teresa. We're not saving the fucking planet here, but don't ditch your appointments. Don't treat your clients like assholes. Don't act like fucking rock stars. Don't get loaded at work.
Try
Now-
not to fuck your way through your client base.
Yeah, well, there's that one. Don't go cruising.
Sometimes that backfires a little bit.
Well,
you don't see a lot of plumbers and carpenters
I've seen
doing
movies.
that.
I've seen those movies.
I'm here to drain your pipes, man.
You want to clean my pipe? Like, yeah.
I'm here to fix your fucking cabinet. You want to fix my cabinet?
See, and I get it because when I was young, I did all the same shit. You know, I would drink till like, I don't know, 4 a.m, sleep at the shop, do a bird bath, do a half-assed tattoo on somebody. I fix it later, you know, don't worry. Hit on their girlfriend or sister or daughter or whatever, you know. Ask them what they're doing later and go out. Like, I was that
When
guy.
you ditching this idiot? Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, the thing was, I never, ever had a shop where we smoked weed at work or we drank at work. And that seems to be a very common thing in a lot of the younger people's kind of environments. They just figure that they're above real work. I don't know. And then at least certain shops are like that. They go and have smoke breaks in between clients and they're tattooing high and shit like that. And in our shop, I'm pretty square about stuff. I'm kind of that dad guy where I'm like, you know, we have a job to do and you do your job sober with the best professionalism you can, then go home and get as fucked up as you want. But I guess I'm just a little rough around the edges.
Well, and it is kind of it's one of those. It is fun and it's cool if you can like fucking hang out and smoke with your tattoo guy. But like realistically, like you fuck up somebody's furnace because you're high. You're like, oh sure, you'll fix that. You fuck up somebody's tattoo because you're high. You're like, oh, that's kind of a big fucking deal. You
Yeah,
know?
it can be.
It's
Misspelled words.
Tough to take that back. Yeah, fucking exactly.
Yeah, misspelled words, overshooting lines, going too heavy, doing a design backwards, all kinds of shit
Oh,
that can
shit,
go
yeah.
wrong.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look right in the mirror.
And I got
of course
some-
it did. It was fucking backwards.
And I got buddies that have been tattooing forever. Some aren't even with us anymore, and that was like kind of their modus operandi. They would get all fucked up and just party like that. Like tattooing was a party, and it works for them. And more power to them, I guess, if that's how they want to run it. But I've also got a shop that's been operating steadily for going on 22 years now. And it comes from being a family shop where we don't fuck around at work, you know? And it's funny because when the Yelp reviews started affecting our trade a lot more than, I guess, just word of mouth,
Sure.
we had a pretty good reputation for that, you know?
Which is insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
when it started,
you know what I mean?
Not
like,
that we were playing catch up. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, because it's easy for anybody to just get on and just fucking let loose with any little thing that they got an issue with.
Oh shit.
And I don't know, but you, like, there's some of you that are notoriously difficult to work with when you want to get tattoos done. So there's room to complain. But that being said, your fucking work always speaks for itself because it stands up.
Well, I work alone after hours with private clients now.
Nice.
Because I know I'm hard to get along with. Actually, I'm pretty cool to get along with one-on-one. I can find common ground with most people.
That's when you know somebody and you're working with them. But I just know you, if you don't know somebody and they come at you with like
the wrong energy,
fucking their expectations of how this is going to be, and then you're like, no, we're not doing
this
that.
We're not going to work.
Like, wait a minute, do you talk to your customers like that? Like, you're going to tell me you're just not going to do this? You're like, yeah, I don't do that. And you're like, oh, okay. A lot of people can't fucking understand that because again, they think it is like a trade where they're just like, well, no, I hired a plumber. You fix my fucking kitchen. What are you talking about? You don't do kitchens. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's interesting that you guys still didn't have fucking issue with that.
Well, I've got a whole little like spiel about that, and I guess we got an hour and a half to talk. Might as well fucking spill it.
Spill away.
Okay, so when you look at tattoo art in our trade, it's kind of a given that people think they can just call up a tattoo artist with their idea. The tattoo artist designs it on the fly, gives them an idea. They get to bounce it back and forth with the artist, and then the guy puts it on them, and they can micromanage as much as they want where it's going to go. 2 millimeters to the right. No, I want it angled a little bit. Okay, that's the right one. And then they pay only for the tattoo, and then they have the right to call you for the next 2 years about everything that's fucking an issue with their tattoo that in their imagination because they sit there staring at it for 3 hours a day. Right. Now, these are all different jobs. Now, I when I was doing martial arts, I had to get a graphic design done for a poster, that like a flow sheet for a bouncer program we were working, and I couldn't do the graphic design, so I went to the printing shop that was doing our posters. I said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw it up for you, a rough copy. You need to design it for me. Oh, no problem. We'll give it to our graphic artist. That's an extra fee. Oh, so that's on top of the printing? Yeah, of course that's on top of the printing because it's a different fucking job.
Right.
The graphic designer was $80 an hour. I had to pay a little more than $200 to get the design done. Then I pay for the printing on top of everything else. It's not like it's all included, but tattoo art, everybody seems to think it's all included.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the time that I'm sitting there while you're poking me is the only thing I'm paying for.
So we undercharge ourselves all the time. And then there's the new custom attitude where once upon a time, if you look at our walls, I'm not sure if anybody's watching the videos, we have flash all over the walls. There's pre-designed stuff. You pick it, I stick it, there you go. That's easy.
Much of Dusty.
Yes.
Much of Dusty is covered in you pick it, I stick it.
100%. And that's the trade in the pure sense of the word. You get a stencil, you put it on somebody, you trace over that stencil, you're good to go. Now, there became a movement in tattooing where guys were like, no, I can draw stuff for you. And, oh, that's really cool. That guy's going to get all the business. Then that became the standard, and flash kind of went out the door. People look down their nose at anybody who does the pick and stick stuff, which is bullshit because now an artist is expected to create a custom designed piece of art for every single client coming in the door, and that well of creativity and just vigor and vitality is supposed to be endless.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be that special flower that looks like nobody else's flower, that special koi fish that looks like nobody else's koi fish, and you don't get paid for that.
Yeah, right. You don't get paid for the individuality.
So what's an artist versus a graphic designer? An artist is somebody, in my opinion, that just expresses themselves in music, in anything else. I'm expressing myself through my poetry, through my music, through my art. And if you like my art, purchase it. Right?
Yes.
Now,
you don't get to dictate what my art is going to be, though.
That's
You don't get
design.
to decide the chorus for my fucking song.
100%. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want you to write me a song for my whatever, and it needs to go like this, and it needs to go like this, cool. Now, that's your art, right? I'm only going to pay you for your CD.
Yeah.
You put it on your CD and I'll pay you for the CD. I'm not paying you to write that.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's graphic design when people want to micromanage what's going on. But we aren't paid for graphic design. We're only paid for the tattoo. And then on top of that, we also get a new generation of tattoo clients that aren't kind of outlaw underground culture. They're not like rough around the edges. It's very caring. In fact, we were dealing with Karens before the term Karen came out. Like the haircut, I'm sorry, this doesn't look the way I want it.
Yeah.
The blue is too dark. It needs to be lighter.
Yeah.
Like how the fuck?
Well, give it 25 years, it's gonna lighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
You spend much time in the sun?
Yeah.
How about hot tubs?
It's not where I want it. Well, did you look at it before we put it on you? Yeah. Well, that's where it was going to go with the tattoo.
You gotta speak up before then.
So we had to deal with these micromanaging clients, which eventually were named Karens, and and then we had to deal with the internet review culture.
Sure.
Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews, where these people that are pissy and micromanaging can hop on anonymous platforms and just be like, they fucking suck. They're rude. They're inconsiderate to my needs. They me too'd me. He asked me if this was my real hair color. Whatever the fucking, issue is. And they're the worst people ever, and I shouldn't go to that tattoo shop. So my personality is I can't handle that clientele. I grew up with a different clientele, punk rockers, heavy metal guys, biker guys, rough around the edges people. So, and I'm a little bit of that guy.
Yeah, man.
So I needed to go a little bit more private.
Yeah.
So I don't, and people that come to me know what they're going to get, and like, it's going to sting, it's going to be fast, it's going to be a little rough around the edges, but you're going to like it. And if you don't, we can work together because we respect each other.
Yeah, man.
And
that's what I was thinking the whole time when you were talking about that. It's a respect thing, right? And it's like none of those type of customers ever really make an effort to earn your respect by being respectful. You know what I mean? Like that was always my thing when I went in a place like that. I'm like, I'm in your world. You know what I mean? I want to be respectful of what you're doing, and I want what I want, but at the same time, I still know it's you tell me to fucking do something, bend my arm this way. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Okay. Your arm has to be bent this way, though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's what needs to be done for this fucking thing. Like,
I had a client the other day. Holy fuck. Okay, I'm telling the story. I don't even give a shit. So he has a previous existing tattoo on his back, and he came to me and he wanted me to fill up the rest of his back with some background stuff. No problem, I can do that. Originally, it was going to be Japanese, but we changed it to like kind of filigree stuff, right? Like
okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's because he's got a lot of heraldry and shields and stuff like that. So
great.
yeah, I figured that the European style would be the best way to go. So we did most of the shoulder work, and we did one shoulder, and now it's time to get to his lower back, and we start going down there, and he's like, nope, I can, nope, you got to tattoo me somewhere else. I'm like, what the fuck?
You got tattoo
like your head, your arm,
what, you mean the back of a Volkswagen?
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck. And so I was just like, no, man, this is where we're tattooing today. This is this is where it needs to be tattooed. I don't know, like, so I guess just suck it up.
Yeah.
And my other coworkers just got wide-eyed. They looked at me. They're like, I couldn't believe you said that to that guy. Yeah. And I'm like, what else am I going to say? Like, I don't want you to tattoo where the tattoo is supposed to be. Yeah. Tattoo me somewhere else. It's easier to get tattooed. Right? Like, what the fuck? This is where we're tattooing you today. Yeah.
Picasso-looking fucking piece by the time you're done.
Oh, yeah. I went in for my back work.
Yeah.
I ended up with a half sleeve, though, because I didn't want my back work done today. And it's kind of weird that way. So, yeah, it's a tough one trying to get people. And there's an increasing desire for huge tattoos with people not realizing how painful they are. So,
fuck. And then, and the amount of time and shit that goes into healing it and stuff, like it's all a lot of fucking work. Yeah, that's
like full backs.
I never got. Holy fuck. Yeah,
people are signing up for full backs for their first tattoo,
that's
and
wild.
They've never been tattooed before, and they're just like, that's what a tattoo feels like. I'm like, yeah, and you got about 26 hours left.
Right. Yeah. You're 12 minutes in, and you got 26 hours left.
So yeah, freezing gels are starting to be popular, and as much as I feel,
and that's why motherfuckers think they can do stuff like that, because they see somebody else get it, and they go, well, they did it, and there was an 8-hour sitting. I don't know why they couldn't do that. And like, well, because they were doped up, they had freezing gels, they had whatever the fuck it was,
perked out, or whatever,
right? Like. It fucking hurts. It hurts.
so now there's a generation that, and I don't get it. Again, I'm an old guy, and this is an old guy trying to navigate a new culture that's developing, which are safe space tattoos. There's one in town, I won't use their name, but they're a collective of young ladies, and if you look on their online portfolios, it gives you a laundry list of, oh, I have PTSD and bipolar disorder, and I suffer from depression, and this year's I went through this kind of counseling, so I feel...
Sorry, this is the profile of the tattoo artist.
The artist profile.
Listing all of their personal issues.
Yes, so you feel safe to go to them, that it's going to be
here's a news flash. We're all fucked.
Yes.
Everybody's got fucking issues. Everybody's a drunk. Everybody's a drug addict. Everybody's got a sore back. Everybody's parents suck. Everybody was diddled. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, fuck me. Like, to list it up, to assume that other people can't fucking even, that wouldn't have that. That's a ridiculous thing. That's a ridiculous thing.
See, and these people, they'll put on their websites. In fact, one did in Saskatoon until I called her out and she changed her website. We offer an alternative to the toxic environment of traditional tattoo shops and to tattoo artists that are intimidating. I am that guy.
It's you. This is who they built the shop against. Because you think most other shops
don't
in town,
employ
honestly,
Pat.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a lot of them that are like that have gnarly reputations in my head. You know, like I don't know of anybody that's like running people out of their shop.
Yeah,
so
Wenzel, but he's dead.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So little R.I.P.
Yes, rest in peace, Chris. But there's very few guys with that rough and tumble. And so when they do this stuff, they're talking about me and our shop. So I call her on it. I'm like, you like toxic? Fuck, I got a package deal for you.
You know what? This is why I love being around you, man. Because I could think of another time too where I was like, I came back into a place and I seen a new rule and I was like, that rule wasn't here the last time, and I did that thing. I'm pretty sure I'm the reason for that fucking rule.
Yeah. But so I was talking with my front desk people the other day, and I'm like, I can't handle those clients that are that fucking sensitive and that wishy-washy, and like, I'm not your therapist. I'm not your therapist. Don't get me wrong. I can be once we get to know each other. We bounce ideas and we'll fucking work through shit.
Yeah.
I think anybody that's been tattooing for any period of time has met everybody across the spectrum that has damage, abuse or PTSD or anybody who's fucked up. Anybody
in the people business.
Yes,
I'd
say so. Although when you're tattooing somebody, you get some pretty intense stuff.
That's true. You got a lot of one-on-one time where you can
and
really
pain and people
true.
processing
True.
pain.
True.
And but that being said, I don't want to deal with the people that are using this as therapy. I don't want to deal with the micromanaging, fucking wishy-washy people. So maybe these environments are good, because I don't want those clients.
Yeah, well, they need to go somewhere. Yeah, for
You
sure.
go to those guys. And as a matter of fact, I've had a couple people send me, 9-paragraph essays on the tattoo that they want. And I'm like, who'd be good for you? You should go talk to that girl.
That's such a better idea. Just all the shit you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, who'd be fantastic?
Yeah.
This magnificent work.
They're
going to treat you right.
They're going to email you for 6 months before you sit down. And
you guys can pen pals after this shit.
See, and with me, I'm like, oh, you've seen my portfolio? You know what I do? Cool, I'll do that on you. Thanks. Okay. You want a dragon? A koi fish? Yeah, going up or down? Okay, cool. Color? No? Okay. That's all I need to know. Thanks. Have a nice day. And they're like, but. And I'm like, what?
But this one, though.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
Cool.
Yeah, you look at my book.
Unless you pulled it out of my book.
Yeah, if it's in my book, I can do it. If it's not, don't ask me for it. Go away. Yeah, and that's kind of it, right?
Fucking rights, though, man.
Yeah.
Why not? There should be more of that. Because again, everybody who needs that is gonna find that. They're gonna. I've said this before. If it's a valid fucking business, people are gonna go to it and they'll enjoy it. It doesn't take away from anything else because those people are already not going to the thing that they're upset about. So yeah, have more of that. More safe space tattoo shops.
When I got my El Camino, when I had the El Camino and I was getting it pinstriped, I went to LB Signs, Larry at LB Signs. He's one of the guys that taught Decay, actually.
Yes.
And I sat him down. Well, no, actually, I was looking. I'm like, hey, man, I want to get some hand-done pinstriping. I'm willing to pay what it costs, and I want this panel done and this panel done and over here and on the hood and on the back tail. He's like, this isn't the 70s. No, we don't stick pinstriping anywhere. I'm like, but the El Camino is from the 70s. I kind of want that. And I like this spider web idea. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And he just gave me my truck back done the way he wanted. There was no spider webs. There was swirls. There was just like, hey, fuck, there you go.
Cool.
It's cool. It's nice. It's what you asked for. And I'm like, yeah I guess,
Where's my spider web?
Well, and at the time, he didn't want to do it anymore. He was like, hey, you can get this cheaper and nicer with stickers. You could just get stickers laid out. These guys will do it for you. No problem. I don't need to hand paint all of this. And I'm like, but I want it hand painted, man. I want you to do it. And I want you to do A, B, C, D. And then he's like, this is what you get. You know, like, you wanted me to paint it. I painted it. It looks really cool. I didn't do as much as you want or what you wanted, but you get it back. It's hand painted.
Plus, you get to tell everybody it's hand painted and it's from him.
And
right?
I got that
was the point.
story. Yeah. And that's kind of, I think, where I am with tattooing, where it's like, hey, if you know what I do and you like what I do, I can do that for you. And if you want something, I had a guy come to me. He's like, man, I really like your work. I want to get something done by you, but it needs to be outside your comfort zone. And I'm like,
why?
Yeah, you want a shitty tattoo from me? So you can say, Pat, fuck this up.
You guys, we're gonna grab Usain Bolt and we're gonna see how he swims.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean. Like,
let's do a
he's
triathlon,
fast, right? Let's get him in the water, see how quick he is. Why? And you are the Usain Bolt of tattooing.
Well, I don't know what that is, but okay.
Usain Bolt, he's like the fastest man alive.
He's a little jumpy guy with the hair.
Jamaican dude, real fucking fast.
Oh,
100 meter, 200 meters.
I thought he was an MMA guy. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's would have been a.
You should get him into MMA. You're fast. You're a fast guy.
And just run around, tire him out.
So this weekend, two things that went on: Father's Day and the solstice. So it's weird that they fall on the same deal. Yeah. Father's Day is one of my two most top triggering holidays of all year. So that was always interesting.
Yeah, good one for me too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I phone a lot of women on my Father's Day.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Just checking.
Yeah. How you ladies doing? Everybody's doing good. Yeah. No, it's fucking. It's better this year than last year, but yeah, it's always fucking tough now.
I took my daughter shooting. That's what
there
I
you
did.
go.
You know, hang out with my kid as much as I can, and that's about it.
Kid stuff. Yeah. Well, and then today, so right after the solstice, the next day is always go skateboarding day. So it's like June 21st. So I was like kind of stoked on that. Today's go skateboarding day. So get up and rip around.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. It was up in the air. You guys had a big party this weekend. So
we did, yeah.
It's interesting because I've been reading a lot on solstice celebrations and the sun wheel. And there's a sun wheel, and it's a circular thing. It's divided through the cross. It's got the equinoxes and the solstice. It's funny, all these ancient symbols that are like integral to like pre-colonial civilizations are now be considered hate symbols for some reason. You can't use them. You can't talk about them.
People keep misappropriating
Yes,
them,
that's
right?
a good point.
Motherfuckers keep taking them and then going like, and by the way, you know what else this means? And you're like,
white people.
No one wrote that down, guys. No one said that. Fucking totally. But yeah, that's kind of, it felt transitional party weekend, you know?
And I saw the big thing is summer solstice celebrations usually revolve around fire ceremonies, right?
Fuck.
Circular fire ceremonies.
Hit the goddamn nail right on the head. We had a circular fire ceremony.
Yeah, jumping through flaming hoops and
there was a bunch of flaming hoopers. I was going to say we because I never did it, but that was a bunch of flaming hoopers.
You didn't give it a go?
We have because I don't have a mini bike, so I was riding other people's if I felt like riding one. And these guys, by the time we got the flaming hoop going, they had it dialed in, because there was a decent little gap between those ramps, and it got a little out of hand. And I was like, I don't know if I should be on acid and ride somebody else's mini bike through a flaming hoop. I don't know if I should do that.
When else should you do something?
Yeah,
like
right. Yeah,
no,
I
when you're sober, it's just not, because then you don't even know if it's real.
Yeah,
is this even happening?
The burns are though. Yeah,
is
all the
this
time I
even
spent
happening?
The burn ward.
Yeah.
No, it was a wild fucking fun weekend. So we really upped the level for mini bike related debauchery. And I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do next. So
you need a loop to loop.
So you said it out loud, and I guarantee somebody's like, "Can you fucking imagine?" Yeah, loop de loop. That's all right.
What's
fine.
the next thing? I've seen guys do it with skateboards,
right?
Yeah. So
it's not. I've seen people do it on motorcycles also.
Yeah.
And mini bike could probably be perfect for it.
A wheel of death.
You just gotta go
a
fast
mini
enough.
bike wheel of death.
Oh fuck, dude. Wheel of Death.
I've seen one of those live, and they're insane.
Flaming Hooper.
They get
like in the big
full
thing.
ball.
Yeah.
And they put a guy in a motorcycle in a ball, and he starts going in like a little circle, and then bigger circles, and then he's doing loop to loops, and it's just like an orbit. And I've seen a couple with two people in there, which are insane. You got two guys going in sync, riding in like they could smash and destroy each other. So
well, that's how it felt when everybody was looping around because they had it set up so when you come through, you could do the middle jump or you could do this other little side tabletop jump that we built out of actual tables, and then come back around. And they had a teeter-totter thing set up that if you hit it fast enough, it would launch you. So it's like just fucking pandemonium, guys, just flying around. And like at the early part of the day before everybody was wasted, everybody had helmets on fire in the dark. No fucking helmets on.
Well, yeah.
The fucking guys are wearing straw hats through the fucking ring of fire trying to see if maybe it'll catch. Like, just pushing the limit. But, yeah, it was really fucking fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the highway to the danger zone.
Yes.
Hershey Highway to the danger zone. Okay, Russell?
Yeah, that would be a really fun time for a mini bike mania. Were the kids out there?
And there was a couple kids out there, too, that were having a very fucking fun time.
Yeah. It's like because you're hanging around a bunch of 40-year-old children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody's still looking out for you. And
Yeah.
it's fucking. And it was just the first year then in at least 3 or 4 that nobody went to the hospital.
That's good.
So yeah, very impressive.
Nobody went to the hospital.
Nobody
No
went to the
injuries.
hospital.
That's
There
good.
was a few exhaust burns, but that was about it.
Yeah, that's
no
okay.
serious crashes, no gouges, no broken shit. There was a one roof poop.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But
No, no, I don't know.
You don't know what I mean by roof poop?
I'm not
a poop
familiar.
on the roof.
And it rolls?
No, it went through a hole in the roof actually into whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
It was a disgusting thing to see, but really funny also. So yeah, there was a
Those
lot of
often go hand in hand.
that. Hey, it's disgusting and hilarious, especially with a bunch of degenerates. Actually, it was funny. We're standing there, we're sitting around the fire, and I'm talking to Cash actually, and I see a bunch of the guys all standing kind of off to the side, and everybody's got all their fucking matching black and white bullshit on, right, like we always do. And I was like, this
The
guy's
flare?
yeah, right. Our dark pieces of flare. And I'm like, fuck, they kind of look a little bit like a doo-wop group, but like they can't sing, they just do rapes, you know? Like,
The do-rape crew.
yeah, exactly. Do rape, do.
Do
Yeah.
rape, do rape.
So,
do
yeah,
rape,
no, fuck,
do
we had
rape.
some good goddamn times.
Anyways, yeah.
I'd come up with the concept of a charcuterie surfboard. You know what I mean? It would float and be enormous. So I'm on board with that. I think we should fucking make that happen.
Yeah. What, floating? Where? You got
Wherever the fuck you want, man.
Yeah, down the river.
Surfboard, yeah.
Just get a little picnic table with the table in the middle and just
exactly.
float.
Yeah, get some salted meats and some cheeses,
Yeah.
crackers.
Very good. You're stretched right out. We're playing footsie under this motherfucker. yeah.
I'm getting comfortable.
So yeah, I've been. We were gonna do like a little bit of a fire and altered states of consciousness kind of solstice celebration. We might end up doing that tonight, to be honest, just
Nice.
because it didn't really work out and it's close enough for us, to do that. It's interesting that old sun wheel being. The equinoxes and the solstices are divided as circle, and you have the cross in the center. And in pre-colonial cultures, that also corresponded with the seasons of our lives, our birth, our youth, our middle age, and our elderly, and then going back into that cyclical kind of idea, which goes hand in hand with the whole reincarnation idea of some cultures, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's always a continuous cycle that keeps
Yeah,
going
without
around
calling
and
it
around.
that, right?
Yes.
No, we just keep doing it. You mean you reincarnate? I don't know what the fuck you call it, but we keep doing it.
Well, yeah, and then that symbol got carried over to other sun wheels that just weren't a full circle. They were just cut off one little bit there. And,
Once again, misappropriated.
yeah, 100%. Like, this stuff's been used, I think the oldest, what was it, the swastika symbol was the oldest one they found was 12,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And in the last 70, it's been misappropriated by misanthropes. You know,
Yeah,
people that are
right?
fucking just evil people. So you got 12,000 years of history that's going to be erased in the last 70 years or 80 years. That's
Well,
some fucking stupid shit.
I think with like a lot of things, you get that knee jerk right away where it's like, fuck, this thing's no good. But eventually,
It has to.
People, the sting of it wears, and people start to go like, well, no, what is the history of this? And they start to understand. They go, no, we know that it was used terribly, and that's a horrible way to use it. But we understand what the bulk of what this is fucking stood for, right? It's just tough when you're right near it.
Yeah, like the cross.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, the Inquisition,
Yeah.
the Crusades, the Dark Ages, all of that stuff. That's
Pinning
kind of
people to them. That was a big thing.
The what?
Pinning people to them.
pinning people to them. Yeah, that's even before. Yeah, it was
Yeah, man.
co-opted by the Christian Empire. It was a Roman fucking execution device. Come on. Well, speaking of which, oppression in the name of Christianity, they're finding new bodies all across Canada. They're
Right.
doing they think they found 150 more than the 250 they found, or 215 they found out at Kamloops, in the name of Christian indoctrination and erasing these pre-colonial cultures. It's weird, eh?
It's fucking wild.
I think about this shit every fucking solstice and equinox. You know,
Yeah?
that these are, well, to me, it's ancient knowledge.
Yeah.
It's ancient knowledge, like not only about ourselves and our universe, but also when to plant, when to harvest, when the snows melt, when the snows come. Like, this is like a natural part of our life.
Yeah.
It's part of, you look in the sky, you can see where you are, you can navigate the oceans. Like, this was ancient technology, is understanding this stuff. And then it was considered evil.
Yeah.
That's it. It's evil.
Well, because how relaxed are you if you start to realize that everything is cyclical and that whatever phase you're in right now is going to change, and it's natural. It's going to happen. It's not you don't need the intervention of a higher power or God. It's going to fucking change the more you continue to do it. People would relax and they wouldn't worry about, well, I need to fucking give my tithes to this fucking church to have a higher power tell me what to do. So yeah, nice good control mechanism because
You wouldn't
why
bow
would
to
you want
our
people-
artificial authority so much if you realize we're a part of a grander ecosystem.
Exactly.
That's, I think, the big thing is like artificial authority can control you with fear. And when you understand you're part of a grander scale and we're all on a team, a
Yeah.
big team,
Yeah.
you know, we're just one player on a huge team, that makes a big difference because you feel connected. And it's better to make you feel like an original sinner that needs to repent and pay your dues and be guilty and obey a suffering existence as opposed to live with vitality, live with vigor, live your best life free from the constraints of artificial authority. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like your weekend.
I
That's a call
tried
back.
my best. I tried my best to live
Yeah.
without official authority, but they tried to impose. We did all right though.
Well, you know, I think in an age, well, I wrote this out, which in an age of toxic conformity, self-work is a revolutionary act. And it depends on what your definition of self-work is. It can be, you know, recognizing your own spirituality or, you know, physical self-work or ethical self-work or emotional, you know, anything that people are working. Taking control of your own healing. It's a revolutionary act in a world where they say you can't control yourself. You
Yeah.
need to be babysat. Right?
Yeah, right. And again, that's all to fucking continue to milk you and make you fucking a cog in the machine and
Livestock.
get every bit of your energy out of you in whatever way they can. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've been having a
Don't
lot
care
of
for
the livestock panic mode stuff. Like I've been reading this book by what is it? Pentti Linkola, Can Life Prevail? And he's kind of like not that popular. He's got some unpopular opinions. He's a deep green activist where he's from Finland. He grew up a fisherman and he basically didn't believe that technology and society and the evolution of things was necessarily a positive thing. He felt that people were happier, like admittedly, like they lived a shorter lifespan, but to what, you know, like existential suffering, that like malaise, the constant pleasure seeking, as opposed people getting weaker and out of shape and like our environment being degraded. So he's got some pretty unpopular opinions, like population control can be done with a passive means. Births should be licensed, immigration and international trade should end, and growth must be reduced. That, you know, that just as 1 out of 10,000 people has a talent to be an engineer or an acrobat, only a few are truly capable of managing the matters of a nation or mankind. So he was very much in favor of an elite that need to rule, right? A meritocracy. That progress and technological, economic, social growth is an illusion, and its priests fervently cling to the idea that material prosperity brings enjoyment and happiness, even though history has shown that only material want and a life of struggle lead to a meaningful existence. In other words, material prosperity doesn't bring anything apart from misery. So it's an interesting angle that I'm in the middle of reading this, and he's got some strange and potentially radical ideas on things. Remember our lifeboat question?
Yes.
You know, if we have a boat sinking and there's 100 people and only 12 can be saved, he doesn't care about which 12, but he does care about taking a hatchet to the hands that try and drag the lifeboat down.
Oh shit. Fair enough.
He's like, there's only the boat's going down, and we need to recognize the boat's going down, and there's a lot of people dragging it, so we should probably start chopping hands. So I'm pretty,
Well, that's an interesting perspective.
Well, in a lot of ways, we are 2 minutes to midnight. You know, if you take a look at our environment, you watch Seaspiracy. You know, watch Seaspiracy, watch
Well, that
Cowspiracy.
fucking, what is it? The nuclear clock or whatever the fuck they call it.
Oh, that
where they
one.
Keep the doomsday clock.
Yeah, the doomsday
They
clock.
say that, yeah, it keeps moving closer and closer to that midnight fucking hour.
And that's on a nuclear, like, warfare, Holocaust kind of, like, scenario.
Yeah, how close are we to be totally fucking annihilated?
As opposed to, like, the ecological crisis, you know, where the...
Well, and I think that's, I guess I don't know this for a fact, but I do think that has been contributing.
Oh,
to the
really?
advancement
Is
of
it?
that. Like, it's not just
I
nuclear
thought it was-
proliferation, it's also like, no, the Earth's fucked as well.
Yeah. So it really makes me wonder, and that's one of my big questions that I've been dealing with lately is really whether I should move out to the land and just rough it, you
Like,
know?
I was just thinking about what this guy was kind of talking about, and my thing with that is like, my thing is that like everybody has the potential for enlightenment. In my mind, everybody
Okay.
has the potential for it, right? So you can chop hands off the boat, or if everybody's enlightened that's there, they can make the right decision for what it is. And it might not be for themselves, because enlightened people don't necessarily take even what they need. They may decide somebody else needs it more and they give it to them.
So, okay, our capacity for enlightenment and self-work and self-actualization, right, is kind of at a point of it's a luxury. Those with the wealth and the time, and
well, and that's why you need technology to get you so you can live a comfortable level of life, so that you can do that inner work and look in and be spiritual and do all those things that get you to that level of enlightenment. And people have become enlightened in the past without that, but they generally live a monk-like existence where food, shelter, clothing isn't a concern because it's provided to them by the commune or whatever the fuck they're in, and they contribute to that. Whereas most of us day to day don't have that. We still have to kind of look after that shit ourselves. And once that's all met, then I think that's why you find a lot of people that like, they don't. Well, money isn't all happiness, but it does give you the time to figure out what the fuck makes you happy.
But does it also give you the time to have existential malaise, because you see a ton of drug addiction and
for sure
in wealthy individuals.
But so, a lot of those are young. Right, they haven't had life experiences. A lot of that addiction and stuff that happens to people when they're young. If they're older and they have that level of wealth, a lot of times, like, I mean, they may still have
all the billionaires I know. Like, you know, they're.
Well, I'm just picturing a guy like a Jim Carrey or somebody like that who became very wealthy as an adult, and he's someone who's all about this fucking existential kind of shit. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it does give them more of the free time and the access to gurus and other different types of, you know, because like if you're poor, you know, and you're even interested in religion, you might just be kind of strung to whatever's in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? You might just go to the church that's there, even though shit's on the internet, but you still want a personal connection with that, right? Whereas you got the wealth, well, you can fly to the fucking India, or you can go to Nepal, or you can go wherever you want to do it and meet these, you know, higher thinkers or whatever. That level of comfort can allow you to do that. But again, not everybody uses it for that. They get to that level and they go, well, how do I be a greedy fuck? How do I make more for me? How do I hoard more? But not everybody does that. At
the same time, I think Lincola's perspective in the book is that it is the struggle that makes life valid, you know? And even if, I guess, all of your needs are met, you still invent struggles. You know, you still invent that thing that you should be working hard to aspire towards.
Or you find someone else's struggle and you take it on as your own.
Yes, that's where I'm at right now. Like, you know, my tattooing is kind of on the back burner. I do it part-time. I'm in the process of starting up another project. And my goal is to help people get sober and to do that self-work program. Yeah. But then there's the other side that, like, there's a ton of what you could probably call gray people, right?
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, give me my steak, my potatoes, my pickup truck. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it goes back to my question, I think, from a couple of them, where it's like, how much do we care about those that don't even give a fuck, right?
And that's what's frustrating for me, is because I know that they physically have the same fucking mental capacity as me and could get to that enlightened level. It's just that they don't want to, and it is frustrating for me. But you can't make somebody want to become enlightened. You can't make someone not be an addict.
So how much do we care about a world that doesn't give a shit?
Well, but it can though, right? You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is it can change, and that's you have to plan for the hopefulness, right? In my mind, because I mean the shittiness is going to happen. It's going to be there, but I have to try and aim towards the hopeful outcome.
Well, you're preaching to the converted with me.
I feel desperate. You know what I mean? Well, I feel like there's no options.
Okay, I guess that's where I'm at, because like I'm an animal rights activist or advocate when I'm not like out there protesting, which I don't do all the time. Yeah. But I'm an advocate for animal rights, especially online, and you know, an environmental advocate, and you know, sobriety and my whole lifestyle shit. I run into people regularly. Zero fucking interest, you know. Maybe
and not just no interest, they want to also denigrate you for having interest in it. They want to go, well, that's fucking stupid, why would you give a shit about that? You know, like, and again, the
carnivore diets of this world,
though, to me though, those people, whether they realize it or not, they're gonna have a shitty existence. There's gonna be, when you have that little compassion and you can think like that, there's gonna be other things in your life it's gonna negatively affect, and it's gonna fuck you. You're gonna have heart disease because you fucking eat steak every day, or you're gonna, you know what I mean, or you're just kind of a cocksucker, so somebody is gonna beat the shit out of you in traffic one day. You know, so like again, that's why I get frustrated. But at the same time, I'm like, when I try to big picture that shit, I'm like, your life probably sucks, and most of your family members don't talk to you. So
that's okay. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. So let's say there's 20% that are trying to live a quote unquote, well, legitimately woke existence, trying to minimize the exploitation and damage they do and harm to their environment and stuff. Let's say there's 20% and 80% doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And you can even look at this globally. Let's say the entire population of Canada decided, boom, we're going to live environmentally consciously. We're going to respect each other, everybody's pronouns, everybody's ethnicity. It's like the big fucking mall food court where everybody gets along. Okay, great. That's, you still have Russia, you still have China, you still have India, and you still have to go into India and say, hey guys, do you give a shit? No, not so much, right? And
well, but that's, again, that's for now, right?
Well, we don't have that much time. That's my point.
Fair enough. You may not have enough time to fix it, but I think doing things in what you believe to be the right way and in a responsible way, it's going to have the benefits of that. And then when other groups see the benefit of that, they're going to want that benefit. They're going to, well, how is your crime rate so fucking low? And it's like, well, because we do these things socially that help to get involved in children's lives at an early age before they become gangbangers and they become criminals and they become the things that you don't want them to when they're in their teens. We have the social programs that do that. And they go, well, that's it, you know, like, and that's just one example, right?
Yeah.
So I think once other people start to see the benefit of that, they want to adopt it as well, right? Like that's the reason vegetarianism has taken off. It's not just a bunch of people where their doctors told them, no, you have to do this or you're going to fucking die. It was a lot of people that saw the benefits of it, that saw the fucking the other,
the proof's in the pudding,
and it'll get there, right? And you don't need for technology to help improve everybody's lives. That 1 in 10,000 rule, that's kind of the thing. It's like 1 in 10,000 can govern, 1 in 10,000 can come up with the fucking the different types of technology that are going to make our lives easier. The rest of that 10,000 people don't need to understand it, don't need to know how it works. We just need to accept it and use it. So if 20% of your world population can do those things, it's going to benefit everybody. Eventually, it won't happen right away. And again, you might run out of time, but those benefits of that will eventually go to the rest of them, whether they understand it, like it, want it, whatever, right? The benefits of not bullying children, of having Pride Month so people are less likely to kill themselves because they're closeted, are all going to come out over the years, even though the people that fucking fought against it, and I don't give a fuck, why do they got a month for Pride, you know what I mean? You're eventually going to see the benefit of it in your own life when your cousin isn't dead and he comes out after being closeted. You know what I mean?
Okay, so this is my issue. I'm just going to rewind a little bit to when you said you don't have to understand the technology, you just use it. You just do it, right? We're going to tell you what to do. You jump through the hoops.
Well, no, not necessarily. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I mean like I don't have to give a fuck about how a phone's built to understand the benefit of a phone. Okay. Right? That's what I meant.
So you could apply that to culture and religion that has been given to us through the last 2,000-3,000 years, where like, you don't need to know why we're telling you to do these things. Just do the things and everybody will get along. Yep. Right. And then what's happened in a very short period of time is we've dismantled those structures because they never understood how the technology worked. All of a sudden they realized that the technology was just a rule-based dogma, and they never learned why mantras work, why the rosary worked, why all of these things really made a person a better person if they did them, because they didn't understand the technology that was happening. And now people are abandoning.
That's purposeful though, of them withholding the access to that technology, right?
Well, okay.
That's purposeful them because they want to control the technology, right? And I guess if somebody was doing that, like well, you can't do everything on a phone. You have to know something extra.
I use an iPhone, so they do that.
Yeah, exactly. you do see a bit of that, right? So yeah, and absolutely, but that's misusing the technology of that religion, then, right? When they're using it as a control mechanism, because someone who doesn't want to be part of that but can still understand what it is they enjoy about the Catholic Church can still do that. They don't have to be part of it. So yeah, no, I totally. That's the fucking problem with all these things, right? A hammer can build a house, or a hammer can kill a family. What do you want to use this fucking technology for?
So and unfortunately, I guess his premise is that technology has created a very luxurious slavery. And
it's totally fucking right.
We've basically
slavery,
right. When once we had technology to get us from point A to point B quicker, easier, carry more weight from point A to point B, and now it's to the point where we can't get from point A to point B without the technology, right? Sure. So it's almost, we can't communicate anymore. We can't get a job without an email. We can't, it's getting to a ridiculous level where soon, if you don't have a credit card, you can't work. What's your bank account? What's your credit rating? You can't get a credit card or you can't get a bank account? Well, you can't get a job here because we only do direct debit, and you need to be paying for your stuff through.
Again, that's just the technology, right? Like
that's technology enslaving people.
When they were breaking land out here, if you didn't have an ox, you had to do it by hand.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, maybe it's a little ridiculous to make that comparison.
That's a pretty stretch. But, you know.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Once we can all, and again, through access to education and information, that's when those religious social structures get dismantled because people understand more about it. You know, again, and that's when computers are more easily accessible and everybody's got more internet. Well, then people in their third world countries that normally didn't have that were totally ruled by religion, start getting that, and then they start having that same kind of revolution. It just takes a really fucking long time. And like you said, we might not have the time for everybody to get reincarnated enough times to finally figure out you can't keep being a piece of shit or you're going to live in a shitty fucking existence.
Well, I don't think that like our ecosystem has enough time to sustain us. Like,
well, it might wipe us clean just to fucking straighten us out. Well, I guess you guys got to do it all over again.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, something will. Yeah. You know, the cockroaches will evolve their super society or whatever, you know, because people can't sustain themselves in an emerging environment. Our cities are going to be, you know, flooded or deserts, you know, whatever the case may be, droughts or the opposite.
Well, it's going to be, because I was just actually talking about California yesterday. I was like, it'd be interesting to see what California is like in 20 or 50 years because, again, exactly that. It's falling off the side of the continent.
You mean the Texas coastline?
It's fucking right, man. It's going fucking underwater. It's on fire all the time. Everybody who lives there that makes any sort of money all wants to fucking leave because they're tired of the taxes and of the fucking how people live in fucking LA and these big major centers. Like,
I laugh because like they're all moving to, you know, Arizona and Texas, and like I don't know what's going to happen with all like the extreme ridiculous left-leaning intellectual critical theory fucking douchebags when they can't get along outside of the California borders, you know.
Well,
like,
but they've never been one to get in a fist fight about it. They figure out how to be within the system and then eventually change the system so that it works for them.
Scream loud enough, you know,
whatever
people
it is,
will back
right?
away. It was funny. B and I were talking. My partner and I were talking today about how a lot of the weird progressive left, like the weird like extreme, I guess. Back in the day, I'd call them hippies. I don't know. Maybe they're socialists. Maybe they're communists. Either way, progressive left. They like to have this idea that they have this lofty idea that our civilized nature, our higher nature, our noble traits should outshine the idea that might makes right.
Yeah.
Like you should never have to use force to deal with a situation. And then when they're confronted with a situation they can't handle, they want an adult to come with force, with a gun on their belt and a badge to do the hard work for them.
But they're living in a world again of those great people that don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah,
you know, and again, me idealistically, that's what you should want.
Like on a Berkeley campus, no one's going to punch you in the teeth if you say the rude thing like "fucking you need to do this" and you fucking well, pop. Oh, what the fuck? I need. Well, might doesn't make right. Well, might just made right. You shut up.
But
you know.
But to be fair though, how's the rest of that scenario play out?
Well,
charges pressed, assault charges pressed. Maybe you go to jail, and then it's
from
like,
who? Somebody who's stronger and bigger. This is the deal.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Entire
might continues to dominate.
It continues to prevail because you always are going to need those people that are willing to use the might to do the right thing. Like
they do use technology though, right? It isn't just their physical might. It is a gun. It is
still
handcuffs.
might. It's still might.
Yeah, but that's numbers also. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's still a form of might.
It's a physical control, right? It's not just the I'm a bigger, stronger, faster thing. I can take you out. That is technology making that still fucking happen, right? And again, we can use technology to balance that playing field eventually as well.
Well, I'm not talking about technology so much as the principle of might makes right. Like if you tell somebody like, look, sooner or later, you're going to need to act on your bullshit. And they're like, So here's a scenario. My girl's like, I had this dream once where I always used to think that I could get out of any scenario because I'm really good at talking and I can negotiate and I could just talk. And I had this dream that these really bad people came and they were going to assault me. So I went into my talkie kind of get out of this scenario and it wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do this bad thing regardless of how much I'm talking. Mm-hmm. And I'm realizing that my talking, I've just spent all my energy on this intellectual pursuit and I completely ignored all my physical conditioning and like my lofty, noble ideals fell on nothing when I was confronted with somebody who didn't share those lofty, noble ideals. No. So then communism or whatever. I know this one communist guy. He's like, oh, everybody should just work. Everybody should work in the collective. I'm like, well, what about the people that won't work? Well, you give them education. You tell them why they need to work and why it's better to be part of the collective team. And I'm like, and what if they still don't care? Well,
here's the thing, though. Like,
yeah, you put them in a
those
gulag.
Those are very rare people.
That's
though.
what happens.
The people that just absolutely don't want to work. You know what I mean? Most people that, even if don't want to work, have addictions issues or mental issues
or
of some
trauma
sort, right?
or whatever. Yeah.
So when you address those core issues, nobody who's able-bodied and actually has interest in the world likes to just fucking sit. Just do nothing. Just never contribute any. Never build anything. You know what I mean? It's generally people who are depressed, are sick because of drugs, of alcohol, that kind of shit.
Yeah,
right?
I understand that. I get it. I do. I get it. Because one of my biggest fucking premises that we need free trauma treatment and therapy for pretty much anybody who wants it, and to destigmatize it. But that being said, let's look at the most socialist kind of countries that are out there. Like we were in Cuba, and we saw straight up people taking the path of least resistance. Farmers that gave up making or farming crops because they could be land keepers at the resorts instead. I'm going to go work on the...
Well, because it paid more, though.
No, the pay is the same because it's communism. Well,
I see what you mean.
And it's like, hey, if I'm going to get paid the same...
Again, I don't think that's socialism. That's communism, right?
Oh, well, it's such a gray area. They say they're communist, but then there is
it's socialized healthcare and socialized schooling, all that kind of shit, but it is a communist structure, I think.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because they don't have free elections.
If you're going to get... No. It's I think Castro's son is taking over.
Yeah.
I think Castro's son's taking over. But the farmers are leaving the fields because why work dawn till dusk, toiling in the fields, if I could just go work at a resort?
Yeah.
And get paid the same anyways. Doctors, people aren't going to school to be doctors anymore. They'll just go get a job being a tour guide because they're getting paid the same. Why go through 8 years of school? And like the idea is like, well, people will go towards their aptitude and their most noble idea. Well, but I think that the test shows people are going towards the path of least resistance. I could just be a tour guide and get paid the same as being a doctor.
I don't know that Cuba's a great example of that, though, because there's socialists like your Norways, your Swedens, that sort of thing, where that's not the case.
Well, but Norways and Swedens and Finlands and Scandinavias have very strict immigration policies. They're closed societies. They say don't come here and take advantage.
That's a different aspect of, though, that isn't related to that, though. Right?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, on one side...
Well, no, it's affected by it, but it's not direct...
Denmark right now is putting in some pretty strict rules on low-income communities that say only 50% can be non-European descent because they don't want parallel societies emerging in Denmark. You need to be Danish to live in Denmark.
But that's a different thing. That's a weird like racial kind of thing. That's not like they don't have doctors because of that. Okay. You know what I mean?
But in Denmark and Finland and stuff like that, it's not to the point where everybody's getting paid no matter or paid the same.
Because it's not communist.
The
it's
street
socialist.
sweepers. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, social democratic model, they're still voting. It's not they've got a higher social infrastructure, but I don't think
we got to find the balance, right? Take the good aspects of that fucking shit, because there is many excellent aspects of that, and there, man, I think that there is scenarios where that does work, where it's like if everybody has access to school, and it's like you can go and become a doctor or go become a plumber. Well, what do you prefer? Right? What is your aptitude?
What's easier?
And what is, because again, well, not necessarily though, because not everybody takes the easier route, right? Like I'm sure starting a tattoo shop wasn't the easier route for you.
I liked it more than
you did what you were passionate. Exactly, because that's what you were passionate about, right? And you probably even knew that you might not even make more than a straight job.
When I got into tattooing, I thought I'd still live on 20th in a single bedroom apartment.
Right?
It was just I didn't want to compromise. I didn't want to sell out to the man.
There could be a bunch of motherfuckers like you out there, man, that are all like, you know what, I don't want to just fucking give up.
There's 60 or 70 tattooers in Saskatoon.
There's a bunch of motherfuckers like me taking my work.
Yep.
No,
literally.
Yep.
See, I started tattooing when there was my boss, and then me.
Yep.
And then there was everybody, and now the floodgates are open.
Yeah.
The floodgates are open, and everybody's taking that. I'm an artist. How can I make the most money without really working and smoke weed at work? Oh, okay, be a tattooer. Anyways, I don't know. I think we're going.
You paved that way for them.
Yeah, I fucking paved the way. You can be out till 3 a.m. drinking and tattooing at 10 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah.
And have money for the drinks the next night, right? Yeah. Yes, fuck. Anyways. See, and that's just it. I
You
think
created this monster.
Well, okay. So I can own the fact that we can we're going through transitional changes in our world, right? But I don't think the transitions are happening fast enough for the world to maintain us. You know,
Yeah, maybe.
and the transitions that people are fucking worried about are so lateral or so horizontal as opposed to vertical.
Yeah.
They aren't looking at the real issues, like government corruption, war, lack of democracy in some places, inequality on a real scale. They're like, you're not respecting this, and I'm mad about this, and you need to, it's all this sideways fighting, and nobody's saying, well, fuck, the oceans are almost dead.
Yeah.
That the natural occurring animals are almost dead, and our world's lungs are slowly corroding. That's not important. That's not important as my pronoun.
Yeah.
Right? That's the important thing. I don't feel recognized and heard now.
That's how I always kind of felt about people that would get attached to these causes that they personally had never had any contact with. I'm always like, why would you get upset about that when there's so many other things in the world that you could be upset about? But then with somebody who is attached to it, I'm like, okay, I kind of guess that. That's the thing that's right in front of your face. That's the thing that you're thinking about. So that's the thing that you're going to scream the loudest about, even though it's probably not important at all in the grand fucking scheme of things compared to many other things. But it's like, that's the thing you're upset about. So
the I, me, and mine.
Yeah.
The struggles that are characterized by I, me, and mine. You need to respect me. You need to value me. You need to hear me. Mm-hmm. When you're not willing to hear fucking animals. Yeah. You're not willing to hear the fucking forests. You're not willing to hear the water. Mm-hmm. There's shit that's really fucking important. But does the media even talk about it? No, there's a lot of fucking money, so people aren't talking about it.
Oh, that exactly.
There's a lot of
money put into that to keep making sure you're burning gasoline and using oil and shit like that.
And people will clickbait their furious little crusades. Oh, I'm angry at those people, and I'm angry at those people, and I'm angry at those people. There's bigger fucking issues out there. Like, can life prevail?
Well, and I keep hoping these fuckers will eventually go you know what? I've been burning all this fucking time worrying about all the bullshit that I'm upset about instead of focusing on the shit that I can fucking fix or change and the shit I'm actually excited about, the shit I'm interested in. You know, that's what I want to fucking engage with. I don't want to always engage with shit that just makes me fucking upset. Shit that and probably again I have no fucking control over. Right? I want to engage with shit I give a fuck about.
Joseph Campbell has that big piece in his philosophy about following your bliss. You figure out what your bliss is and you drive towards your bliss, and what you really enjoy doing, you just put your energy into it, whether you're getting paid or not, and sooner or later the universe will open doors for you.
Yep.
He's a very firm believer in that. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people are mistaking their fury for their bliss. Their outrage for their bliss.
That's their cause for their bliss.
Yeah,
right?
And then that's
what brings you joy. Well, it gets me excited, gets me animated. Was that joyful for you though?
It's outrage. It's outrage. And
and fucking motherfuckers that have never had a bunch of different things that really fire up their serotonin or fire up their adrenaline. That's the shit that triggers it, and they think that's the thing that
they're fighting the righteous fight.
I've looked for that lots in a lot of the activities I do. It's always that same kind of, without realizing it. And my brother explained that to me a while ago. He's like, you're kind of an adrenaline junkie. I'm like, no, that's not me. I know dudes that like that. And I'm not like that. And he's like, yeah, what do you fucking do?
Arm
for
wrestle
fun,
you
though?
for that.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. So I'm like, well, okay, fair enough. But yeah, that's the shit that I engage with because it fucking amps me up, right? And it's not necessarily the right thing for me physically or emotionally or mentally, but it's what gives me that fucking, not even necessarily joy, just that spike of fucking serotonin or whatever.
Well, and to be honest, I can imagine a lot worse things to kind of get you going than riding fast on a motorcycle or cruising down a mountainside on a snowboard.
Yeah.
You know,
that was always my reasoning for that too. I'm like, wow, no, if that's what it is, I mean, it's not meth. You know what I mean? I'm fucking fine.
If I'm out on a lake and I'm on a tube and I go flying into the water and skid a little bit, it's not like hitting the road. You know, there's lots of there's lots of positive ways of getting that little trigger going on. It's just, I feel a lot of people
about stuff on the internet does it too.
They're hooked on outrage. Outrage. Well, and I can be there, and I'm in the process of transitioning that. You could see when I share animal memes, right? Like there's two different types of animal memes I'll share depending on how frustrated I am with the world. One will be, hey, look at this little kitten helping a duckling across the street, and it's the cutest fucking thing. Or, you know, what's one of my other favorite ones? Oh, all these ducks feeding fish, literally, or swans, or they're feeding the fish. I don't know if they're just trying to get the fish close enough to eat them, but you never know.
They're baiting the fish.
But yeah, some super cute animal videos, and then those. When I get confronted with somebody who really doesn't give a fuck, like animal abuse, I'm like, what the fuck? Look at this. Look at this animal abuse. And that's fueled by outrage. The other one's fueled by compassion and joy. And like, but a lot of people, they're willing to say, oh yeah, that's so cute. Oh, so lovable. But they don't make the connection between this super lovable thing that you just liked a second ago and what you're doing to it. Right at the end of the day. And I'm like, but you need to join those. You need to join those.
Yeah.
Manitoba has been the most recent province to recently pass what's called ag-gag laws. They gag people that are trying to film farms, like slaughterhouses and farms for animal treatment. They made it illegal to feed or to water livestock in transport or to block a livestock. It's an extra charge now. It's a specific charge.
What the fuck is the point of this
hide
gag?
To hide what's actually happening in slaughterhouses.
But like, what's their reasoning though? Because they can't come out and say, "Here, we're just trying to hide what's going on in these slaughterhouses. We can't let you take
financial." They say it's it threatens the finances for the business.
Because what they're doing is disgusting, and if people found out, they'd be outraged.
Largely.
Yeah. Well, they should fucking be, right?
And there's been a lot more anonymous for the voiceless, and a few different activist groups that have now been doing like full-on occupation raids where they like break a lock off of a pig farm and they just fill it with 100 people. And then they film and they live stream everything going on, everything that they find in the pig farm while they're getting pulled out one by one and arrested by the police. Yeah. And because these things have been happening too much, they made it illegal. Yeah. And you know what's funny? I go to, I'm not trying to be a propagandist here, but I go to the exhibition. It's sponsored by Agriculture Saskatchewan and stuff. And I looked at their like meat processing kind of whatever. And that's the word they use now. The animals are processed into cuts.
Yeah.
Right? They don't use the word slaughter anymore because kids are freaked out by the word slaughter. They have to keep sanitizing it and sanitizing it and sanitizing it. And it's funny because this Pentti Linkola with the Can We Prevail, he's a fisherman. And he lives in a forest and he lives in his little hut and he takes his horse to the market with his fish that he caught. He sells the fish and he goes back and he hunts. And he had a very interesting point. He's like, you could have an animal that's lived its entire life. This is hunting versus factory farming. An animal that's lived its entire life mating, running, jumping, eating, sleeping wherever it wanted under the stars, drinking fresh water, and it had 3 minutes at the end of its life. It was kind of terrifying, you know, while it was hunted and killed, right? Yeah. Whether by animals or humans or whatever. And that puts humanity into the ecosystem, right? As opposed to an animal that's spent from its birth till its death in a cage it couldn't move.
Yeah,
and it was fed like some sort of
which is like every chicken I've ever eaten.
Yeah, concoction, just like feed it. And what's the quality of life for that animal? So to me, I could see myself maybe transitioning from veganism to being a sustenance hunter if I lived on the land. Yeah, and this is a big one that I've been dealing with across the board. Like, there's an entire community of cottagecore people that are like, oh, move away from the urban environments towards, you know, cottage or rural kind of environments, and you did it for a couple of years, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, I've been really struggling. Well, and you know, living in Saskatchewan, we aren't in an urban metropolis. We are kind of, it's a little metropolis, but like 10 minutes any direction, we're out of town.
Even Minneapolis, yeah,
literally 10 minutes any direction, we can be out of the city. So, you know, I think Saskatchewan's kind of like that bastion of like, if you want to survive, this is it. You know, that's why all those survivalists in the States want to move to North Dakota and Montana and Alberta area, because there's lots of space.
We get some of the best hunting in the world, some of the best fishing in the world.
Mm-hmm. So we
got lots of bounty from the land to be pulled. And again, that's something like my brother talked about. Like, he said, because he was always an avid hunter, and then near the end of his hunting career, he was like, he didn't really worry so much about getting whatever he was going to get. Like, for him, it was much more got to be more spiritual. He would just try and go out and just be in nature and let it give him what it wanted to. He said, like, because he's like, I knew I was looking for elk. He says, but I mean, I wasn't baiting them. I wasn't trying to, like, get them in. I would just go. I would go to my fucking spot. And yeah, and if the fucking, because he said, and that's how it would feel too when he'd go to take these animals. He says it was like they would present themselves to him, and they'd be there, and they'd just be like, okay, I'm here. You can have me now. Like I put the effort in, or I spent my time out here.
See, one of my issues with hunting is if somebody's a legitimate sustenance hunter, well, I guess more power to you. You're actually part of the ecosystem a little bit. But more often than not, they're not sustenance hunters, because as soon as like they're out of the meat, they'll go to the store. Or when they pass a McDonald's, they'll participate in that process. So it's not just that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
They're still going to be supporting the whole fucking deal. And to me, as long as I'm living in a society like this, then I have no reason. There's vegan food everywhere. I can eat vegan as long as I'm here. If I go out to the farm and I can't farm and I can't, grow in a garden what I need to survive, and I need sustenance, I can hunt or I can fish, and I can probably get my head around that a little bit more, right? Because it's a survive or die kind of situation.
Well,
right?
and you'd be respectful of it. You're not taking 50 fish when you need 5.
And when you're in it, there's no choice but to respect it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's the big technology that allows us to just rip through a field, and just scoop everything. What do they call that? Bycatch with the Seaspiracy in that documentary. It's when they're hunting tuna, and the bycatch is the 40% of the net that wasn't what they were hunting.
Sure.
And it's still killed. It's still garbage. They're slaughtered and dumped, And that bycatch is a product of tech. Big tech, big money,
Bigger nets.
Yes, bigger nets, bigger fish, bigger, or less fish, so we need bigger nets. Yeah, to catch the same amount, because people are still eating it. They want it. Gimme, right?
I had a beautiful piece of tuna the other day.
Congratulations.
I know. I don't eat it much, but yeah, just you mentioned tuna. I was like, holy fuck.
Everybody should watch Seaspiracy. Yeah. And then go back to eating tuna as much as you want. Just know. See, this is a big thing. If you're aware and you still want to participate, that's cool. Like if my T-shirts are made by child labor, okay. I watch some Indonesian children sew their fingertips together and then wear the same shirt. Whatever works. My daughter, she went kind of vegetarian, then pescatarian for a while, and then she went back to eating meat. And I'm like, well, do you want to watch a video? No, Dad. Yeah. I don't want to watch a video.
What I don't like about
this. Why? I don't think you know enough. I don't think you know enough. Let's know more.
So here's the thing with me. Like I clearly know, and I didn't eat meat for like 6 fucking years.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to transition back into less meat now, right currently. But again, it wasn't that I didn't know, that I didn't understand, that I didn't know what the physical aspects of it were going to do to me. And I know it's bad for my arthritis. I knew all that. I just didn't fucking care because I was so fucking depressed.
Yes, there's that. There's that. 100%. I mean? Well, that goes back to our.
And again, that's fix my fucking mental health. Then I'm not part of the fucking the commercial meat problem.
Well, I think our capacity for self-work is limited by our damage and trauma.
Yeah.
Largely like on top of luxury, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, our damage and trauma, like if I'm too busy trying to secure my basic needs of safety, security, a roof over my head, food on I don't care about the lofty ideals of compassion. Of forgiveness, of ethics and stuff like that. Only when you can move up Maslow's hierarchy of human needs do you get to the point where you're like, ooh, okay, so now there's other issues that I can worry about.
Well, that's almost like the responsibility that comes along with that level of comfort. Then it's like, okay,
I guess
you got into this comfortable level, now you need to be responsible with that.
Bezos.
Yeah, right, you son of a bitch. You got all the fucking money.
I just heard today, before you guys came over, so I didn't get a chance to read the full article, the government subsidy for him going into space with his brother for 10 minutes is $10 billion. That's how much the government is giving him to assist him for launching his blue whatever into space for his
Blue Horizon. Is that right?
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So here's an extra 10 billion, Bezos, because you can't just take it out of your own fucking bank account. Take it from the taxpayers.
And what is there? They're going to get a bunch of R&D from him sending it up there. I don't know why it's a private fucking thing, and it's America. I thought capitalism was supposed to be. That's some socialist shit right there.
Yep.
Giving them $10 billion so one dickhead can go to fucking space with his jerk off brother.
Well, emperor of America, right?
Holy
that's
fuck.
almost where it's at with
can't pay his fucking workers any sort of health care or not have them so they don't have PTSD from fucking being on their feet and having to piss in a bottle.
Pissing in bottles.
Going to fucking space.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go to space. You piss in a bottle.
Yeah.
My bottle.
I want to go to
special.
space and piss in a bottle. You have to piss in a bottle down here.
Yeah, with gravity. I don't know.
Bunch of suckers pissing in the bottles with gravity.
See, that's just it. I think they're all like Musk and him. They're just trying to set up Elysium up there, where they can all escape to when the Earth turns to shit.
Because I bet you they fucking think very similar to you do, that we're like, we don't got time to fix this.
No.
We can't. I know that they're all got potential, but we don't have the time to wait for everybody to get on board. I got to fucking do my own thing.
Yeah, the movie Elysium with what is it? Is Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
It's such an appropriate that one mixed with the Altered Carbon. I could see
Altered Carbon's a good goddamn time.
Oh man, I should rewatch it. It's that one actually. Altered Carbon's really interesting because the terrorists are just people that are trying to support an ecosystem against these fucking ultra rich titans of industry, and the media is like, these people are radicals. They're the ones that kill people. Like no, not quite like that. And Elysium is another one where they create an alternate I guess space station ring around the planet for the ultra rich, while the peons and the working class and the poor and like the scavengers are left on Earth. They're left on Earth.
Okay, yep.
And I see it increasingly, like I hustle my ass off to try and get ahead in life, and I'm gonna die just like a working class Joe, no matter how much I fucking hustle, and I'll never be Bezos, and I'll never be Musk, and I'll never be a Zuckerberg.
Fat, happy, poor is all I can hope for.
Yeah, well, and that's what we're saying. How much is our capacity for self-work when we are stuck in a situation where we're trying to survive?
Yeah.
And
well, and then maybe for us on this go around, our self work isn't necessarily tied to the fucking money we could possibly make. Maybe it's the trauma we had to endure. Well, maybe we all got different journeys. I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty lucky, man, because I have a lot of free time. Like I tattoo at night, one client a day. That's pretty good. And I'm at the point where I can be that internal revolutionary as opposed to an external revolutionary. My ideas are revolutionary, but I don't advocate for violence. I don't advocate violence. Anyways, so I think that's I'm in a pretty good spot. But then I'm pretty content with living with not that much. I got lots of fucking junk, but like I don't need to have the fanciest this and the fanciest that, and I'm never really gonna. I can't understand it, how guys can live in debt and debt and debt and debt and debt. Like my rig buddies.
Well, it seems like a real existential issue where like you're constantly craving for these more things to validate or to give you fucking joy or whatever.
Distract from how empty everything else is.
Right? Get away from a lot of getting away from. I need a plane to get away. I need a place at the lake to get away. I need a boat to get away. I need a vacation to get away.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you fucking getting away from? Well, this beautiful life that I built that gives me these things. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. You want all this stuff to get away from. That's what you need to look at.
Yeah.
What is the thing you are trying to get away from? And there's this term, financial freedom. And I get a kick out of that because by the term financial freedom, you need to have a certain amount of money that you are finally going to be free of what? Indebtedness,
right?
Slavery,
free to buy the things you want, or do the things you want, or have the time you want. Like,
well, that's just it. Like that freedom, like to say that there's such thing as financial freedom implies that you're in financial bondage.
Yeah.
Until you get there.
Anybody who fucking didn't grow up in a fucking suburb with a fucking house with a 2-car garage and a fucking place at the lake, that's all we've lived in. Everybody's lived in fucking some sort of fucking financial bondage where you're constantly paycheck to paycheck, and like you said, and in debt for shit that's like, no, I just need to survive. I need a car. It's not even a nice car. It's not the fucking one I wanted. I didn't pick it up because it's cool. I needed to have a job so I can exist, and I got to be in fucking debt for that. I need to go to school so I can get an education, so I can get a fucking degree and get a job, so I got to be in fucking debt for that.
I think I'm rich because I can afford my daughter's braces.
Fuck, right?
That's kind of where I'm at.
I feel like I'm doing well right now because I just buy weed whenever I feel like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not really worried about it.
Well, fuck, what is it? I got buddies that like the old punk friends that are like, oh, you're the rich sellout because you have a mortgage.
I've said that.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
No, fuck. Yeah, because you have a mortgage. Because I have the ability to incur hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Thanks, guys.
I can't actually afford it. I may never pay it off, but you're right. I can get that.
I played the game enough to give to con them into giving me a lot of credit and to owe them money till I'm fucking
not even
dead.
credit. They didn't get nothing for it. There's a house sitting here that they're going to take as soon as they fucking want it.
Yeah, COVID puts that real fucking clear. It's like, 2 months without making those money.
House. Change the goddamn rules, get that house.
Yeah,
Right?
Exactly. One little hiccup. Yeah, you
What
guys got to go.
Huh? What are you going to do?
Yeah, right. Literally, what are you going to do? What recourse do you have when they come and they forfeit your property? You know, what recourse do you have when a cop gives you a ticket? Like, it doesn't matter really what it is. You can go to court. You could jump through some hoops and
Sucker
see
punch.
what happens.
I mean, that never ends.
And then run. And then you sucker punch again. And you run. You know, that's
so fast.
That's just it. Yeah. If you, what is it? When you say enough to the system, you go to jail.
Yeah.
That's it. Where can you live free in our country? You can't. Squatters' rights, do they even exist anymore on Crown land? I don't think so.
Yeah, there's always some fucking rules. Even if you own it, you still got to pay taxes.
Yep.
And you still can't do the things that they don't allow in that rural municipality on your property.
Yep. If they find out. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I think living free or living in our society almost necessitates an outlaw mindset to some degree.
Well, no, or again, just make them zeros big enough in your fucking bank account, and then again, the rules don't apply.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if you have nothing, and you live in a shack in the wilderness, and no one knows you're there, and you ride your horse to fucking town with your fish like that, you can have freedom. Or you can have Bezos level money, and you can convince the government to give you $10 billion so you and your brother can go on a joyride.
Yes,
and you have freedom.
That's
in between those two, though. It's just dicks in the ass on a weekly basis.
Yes, 100%. And that's the thing. I used to think, okay, so cool, I'll get some land and maybe I'll liquidate everything. I'll go to the land and that'll be that. I still owe property tax. For what? I'm off grid. They don't do fuck all for me. Yeah. Like, I don't think they even remove the snow.
Hey, they let you exist. What more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. You're existing on our land.
Fucking don't exist you like that.
And don't even get me going. And this is a white guy complaining about this situation.
Fucking, right? Make us any other shade. And then they're like, yeah, and have you ever tried to get groceries? You ever been to a gas station?
Yeah,
fuck me. How about having a job? Yeah, nobody gives you shit all the fucking time.
Yeah. So we're living in transitioning times.
Eh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where I kind of am trying. I'm really trying. Like, I'm really happy I have a roof and hot water. And, like, I've been watching The Walking Dead again. You know, I started it and then I let it fall off. But, man, you really respect what you got when you realize how bad things could get. You know?
Zombies, man.
Well, fuck. You know?
And that kid, he was the worst. That's part of the reason why I stopped watching that show. After he got shot deer hunting. Oh, fuck.
No, I've seen
these spoilers. This show's 12 fucking years old. Like, fuck me. I don't know if you've seen the Titanic, but I got news for you. Doesn't end how you think.
Anyways, kids get shot. Fuck. Anyways, no, I know.
Doesn't stay dead though. Fucking piece of shit. Couldn't stand that kid. Actually, while we're at it, let's just get. No, I'm kidding. It's like an ethnic cleansing, but just with children.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Anyways, what were we talking about?
I don't even remember. Living off grid and appreciating what you have. Hot water, running water. Yep. You know, you're appreciating the time that you have, your health, basics,
friends,
right? Yeah,
families.
Family.
I've been having a fair bit of family appreciation lately. I just moved my grandma into town last week. I started the process a couple weeks ago. Now she's fully in here and she got her own place and getting her bank account set up, and it's good stuff. We went grocery shopping together, and she's 74 and told me that that's the first time we've ever done that, it turns out. So spending more time with my granny, fucking doing granny shit. So
see, it's funny. Yeah, I got such a complicated relationship with my family. I'm pretty estranged from most of them. I'm close with my mom and my brother. Yeah. You know, that's
like I said, that's the first time we've ever been grocery shopping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're close enough, but it's not like, we don't. It's not like that where it's every Thanksgiving together and all that kind of shit.
I don't know. I think it was weird. Growing up, I was always like the punk rock, artistic kind of like poetry kind of weirdo guy in an environment of hockey, beer, and wings kind of folks.
Sure.
You know, that just weren't. We were might as well have been from different planets. And that's not to be like an elitist. Yeah. It's just we had completely different interests, and it was almost like they're not going to get what I'm into and I'm not going to get what they're into, so I guess we'll just do our different things. You know, and every once in a while out of the woodwork, some like cousin I didn't know I have will show up. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Where did you come from? And like, you make hot rods and you do choppers and your wife's a vegan cook, like, so check that out.
Do share genetic material.
Yes, exactly. Bessie Fabrication, Bessie Custom Fab, and Aurora Health Star. Plug. Yeah, check those guys out. They do some pretty cool stuff. stuff. And, you know, my cousin, his name's Doug Bessie Fabrication. Anyways, I really give him credit because he grabbed life by the balls and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to try to make a living out of doing fab, whatever I can do. Whether you need like handrails for your you know, steps, or a grate for your door, or, you know, hot rod chopper, you know, if you need fab work, he does it. And like, it doesn't, big or small, he'll jump on it, give you a price, and he's making a living. And his partner, she did a holistic nutritionist course, so she does delivery food. You know, she'll do up like meal plans, or she does like vegan cooking, or, you know, it's a very yoga based. And the two of them are like really doing the entrepreneurial things, small grassroots, you know, support local,
Good
all
for
that
them,
jazz.
man.
Yeah, that's
good to see. And again, that's a way to take power back from that fucking control system when you start being your own boss and doing your own thing. And it's hard, but I mean, like, they clearly found their niches. That's something they enjoy and they can make work.
For a long time, I thought the Hot Rod Club, the bastards there, should start up a little like project, kind of like, you know, like a business kind of model. But everybody's got real jobs and real lives. So it's not, you know, why turn a hobby into something you hate?
Can't agree on shit to begin with, also.
Yeah, I guess.
Fuck. Bunch of babies we are.
Yeah.
Sexy babies.
Sexy babies. Mm-hmm. And the crimes keep hitting. Anyways.
Well,
yeah, it's a good little visit we had.
this was fucking lovely, man.
I'll get this up as soon as possible.
And that's what she said. So, thanks, guys. Bad ideas, good stories. Bye.
Bye-bye.